everybody, and happy Tuesday. So today we are going to make some McDonald's breakfast at home. So one of the things that I used to love when we would ever get McDonald's was to get Egg McMuffins and hash browns. That was like a go-to. That or bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits. Those are like what I always went for. So today we're going to recreate at home from scratch how to make an Egg McMuffin that is going to be better than McDonald's, and hash browns that will also be absolutely delicious. I don't know that they're better than McDonald's, the hash browns, but they definitely rank up there by McDonald's, and definitely enough to where you don't miss it at all. It does take a little bit of time, but we are going to make it ourselves, and then I'll be back after we make breakfast. Alright, so to start breakfast, I'm going to start with some potatoes here in the Instapot. I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to do those for 12 minutes. And that's it. When that goes off, I'm going to get those out and we'll start making the hash browns. Alright, so the 13 minutes are over. I want a quick release because I do not want this to overcook at all. I also got out some Canadian bacon from our freezer that I've had forever that needed to be used up. Alright, now I'm just going to let these cool off until I can handle them and pick them up in my hands. Alright, so now these potatoes are cooled. I am just going to grate them into a bowl. Honestly, you could probably even gone a little bit. No, I guess that's right. You can see that looks just like hash browns. The white potatoes are definitely doing better than the yellow. The yellow are a little bit more mushy, but we like the flavor of the yellow. That's also what I'd gotten in my box before, so I think all of them though will work fine. Now we are doing more of a brunch because we are going to go to the movies today since the girls are home. So we're eating a little bit later. So we will only have 2 meals today. We'll have this morning brunch or early afternoon brunch, and then we will have dinner. Next, I'm going to grate a little bit of onion in here. Add just a couple teaspoons or tablespoons, I'm sorry, of cornstarch, a little garlic powder, and a little bit of seasoning salt, but not too much. And I'm just gonna mix this all together. Onions, all of it. With the onions mixed in everywhere. I'm going to add some parchment paper to this. With my hands wet, I'm going to grab like a little handful of this. That's probably a bit much. And I'm going to form it into a patty, just like you would a hash brown patty. Make it the shape you want. In fact, I'll do some little round ones too. Those are even easier. But true McDonald's fashion would be to do them in the long shapes. Alright, that's it. This is going out into the freezer when we make the English muffins. Okay, so now we're going to make some English muffins. So I'm starting with 1 cup of warm milk that I heated in my microwave for 2 minutes. To that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of sugar. I am just going to stir this, and I'm going to just kind of set this aside for right now. Okay, and then in a separate bowl, we're going to add 1/3 cup of warm water, 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. Then we're going to add 1 packet or 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. I'm just going to give that a little stir, and we're going to let this sit for a minute. And back to our milk mixture, I forgot to add 1 teaspoon of salt to that as well. And give that a little stir. Okay, so next, now that this is nice and foamy, it took about 5 minutes, we're going to add 2 cups of just plain flour, and we're going to add our milk mixture. I'm going to make sure I get all the sugar and salt and everything off the bottom. And then there's no kneading or anything, we're just going to stir all this together best we can. And then we're going to cover and let this rise for about an hour. So this should be good and double in size. And we're just going to let this rise until double. Okay, I'm going to set my oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to take a dish here. I'm just going to spray this dish down. And I'm going to do my eggs in this dish for the sandwiches because there's so many of us. So I'm just going to go on and do a dozen eggs. I'm going to let them bake for a little bit, and then I will add some cheese to the top. At the end, I'm going to add some salt and pepper, and I'm going to bake them just like this. Next, I'm going to take my pan here. I'm going to take some cornmeal, and I'm going to sprinkle cornmeal on the bottom of my pan here. And if you look at my English muffin mix, this took about 45 minutes. I'm just going to take scoops It says about 2 ounces worth. And I'm going to put it in my pan. Now, it says you should use a ring to form them, but I'm just going to just kind of use it like that. I don't have a bunch of rings to use. I do not have my pan on yet. This is very sticky. I'm going to cover it and I'm going to put it on a medium-low heat. And I'm going to cook it about 7 minutes and then flip it. Start with about 4 of them. I'm going to put my lid on and I'm going to turn this down to a medium-low heat for about 7 minutes. Alright, it's been about 7 minutes. Now this is starting to smell like it's burning because all this cornmeal is definitely starting to burn a little bit. Now I just cover and let them finish cooking. So I actually am turning my heat down even lower here. I'm putting it on like a 3 because it is cooking, I think, a little faster than it should, and I had it on a 4. So you might need to just play with that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go on and get these out. And I actually turned this down to a 2. Because they are just cooking so fast. So next, I'm going to get all this cornmeal out and I'm going to get some more in, some fresh in. Okay, it also says you can check their doneness by looking and seeing if it hits 200 degrees in the middle, Fahrenheit, then you know that they're all the way cooked through. Alright, then we're going to take it, we're going to flip them over. So you definitely want to cook this as low as you can. Flip them over. And we're going to cover them and let them cook a little bit longer. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to our eggs for a minute. I'm on the last 2. These eggs are looking gorgeous. So this is just some farmer's cheese, and I'm going to grate that on here. I don't have any American, that would be the best. I've got to get some of that this next week. This is my last week of ordering from my special dairy place. So I was committed up until now. So I have American cheese coming. Thursday is when I get that picked up. But for right now, I have farmer's cheese. So I'm just going to grate this on the top. And then I had, like I said, this Canadian bacon. It's been in my freezer forever. Can't even tell you how long. Probably even expired. It's been that long. I found it when we were getting our freezers cleaned out and putting all our meat in. Oh, I need to use that. So I'm just going to lay that on here. So it'd definitely be more McDonald's-like if I had American cheese. But that's alright, like I said. Otherwise, it's very much the same. Only better. All right, I'm gonna pop this back in the oven for just a few minutes, and then we're gonna make our hash browns. Okay, so next, I'm just using the same pan. I am going to heat up some oil to fry our hash browns. And here are what the hash browns look like. Ready to go. We just gotta wait for that oil to heat up. Okay, so this is ready. I'm gonna add a couple of these bigger hash browns. Probably get 3 in at a time. And I'm gonna let those cook until they're nice and brown. And then I'll keep going with these. Our eggs are almost done. Actually, I put them on broil for just a minute. And now these are good. I did it just to cook the ham, just a hair bit. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of flip them. Okay, the little ones are done, so I'm going to put them over here on this rack to cool. The big ones are taking a little bit longer. I'll throw some more little ones in. Actually, I think this one's done. Alright, so next it's time to actually make the sandwiches. So I'm going to cut one of the English muffins in half, and you guys can see it. Looks beautiful. To that, I'm going to add a little bit of butter. This is how they do at McDonald's. Then I'm going to add a little bit of the egg as well. And a hash brown. And I will get Charles to do a taste test for you. Alright, here's the working man. Alright, that's the hash browns.
Both the same?
Mm-hmm. He's losing all his egg.
Oh, but it's really good though.
Is it really good? Oops, I cut your head off.
It's really good.
How's the hash browns? You didn't comment on those.
They were perfect.
Perfect. All right, go back to your meeting. Love you. Bye. Thank you. All right, so breakfast was delicious, you guys. And English muffins are so easy to make. That just is not hard at all, as long as you go super low on your temperature so it doesn't brown at all and it has time to like steam up the inside of the English muffin. They taste better than anything store-bought. They were so good. That is definitely going to become a meal that we make way more often. And the egg and the Canadian bacon, all of it just went, it was perfect. It just worked out perfect. So definitely make that McDonald's. If you have a craving for McDonald's, that'll take care of it for sure. All right, so I have a couple things though that I'm a little confused on and I don't understand. So I'm gonna just take a moment here and discuss it for just a minute. So first of all, I want to say that some of you say, well, now you're not on a tight budget because you went and bought this meat. How does that fit into a tight budget? How is that a tight budget? There are real people on a real tight budget. Okay, well, let me just clarify something. If we spend $500 a month for 6 people, not even gonna count the girls, not even gonna talk about it, even though my other 2 girls are home almost half the year. But 6 people that are here every day. Take $500 a month. You multiply that times 12 months, that is $6,000. It does not matter if I spend $6,000 the first day of the year and don't buy anything else at the end of the year till the next year. I still spent $6,000 that year, which averages $500 a month. If I spend Some of it in the beginning, which is what we did with the bulk meat, is we decided to do this, and I'll do a little bit more to talk about that here in a second, but we decided to do that. That does not change the outcome of what we are spending at the end of the year. And $6,000 a year, that's $1,000 a person a year in our family. Not even, it's really less than that if you add the girls in. $1,000 a person a year is insane, low amount of money to spend. We were easily spending $20,000 to $24,000 a year by spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month on groceries. And we cut that down to $6,000 a year. So maybe that's not a tight budget to some of you, but to me, that is massively tight budget. I don't know anybody who spends $1,000 a year on groceries for a person. Nobody. Not even my son, who lives on his own in a little apartment, spends $1,000 a year. So I don't know anybody who does that. To me, that is a massive tight budget. Now, the fact that we decided to buy meat in bulk, well, here's the reason. So in January and February, when we rolled out, first of all, if you even go back to November, December, and we did with you, we cut it down to $400 a month for those 2 months. I just dropped from spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month to $400 so we could get some money for Christmas together and stuff like that. And we did great. And then when we had our big budget talk with you, we said we're gonna bump that up to $500 a month for this year. So in January and February, we did $500 a month to go about $10 over. So that ended up being about $1,010 for the 2 months. Now during that time, I was doing flash foods, I was shopping whatever clearance items I could. You guys can see it, I did it with you. And I was getting a lot of stuff, one, that I didn't really want to buy, or that we normally wouldn't eat, but it was on clearance, so I was getting it. Two, it was fun at first, shopping clearance. It was kind of like being in a treasure hunt, and I did enjoy it, but I really don't like to shop. I do not like to go into stores. I don't like to shop. So for me, that got a little bit old. Three, the third thing is when we would go, the meats and stuff that we were getting were stuff I wouldn't normally buy all the time. Tons of hamburger patties, tons of sausages and kielbasa and stuff like that, and some chicken breasts, but it wasn't really stuff that I would normally buy. And after we had bought a pork in the fall before, a pig from a friend of ours, the quality and taste was not there. So I decided that when we did our pantry challenge, if you guys followed along with that, you saw I made we did not go to the store. We did not go to the store. I made everything from scratch. We went through, if it didn't have milk, we used some canned milk that I had, you know, in the basement. We didn't go to the store at all. I made everything. And that quickly showed me that making everything from scratch is all I really have to do to cut my groceries to where I wanted it to be. That doesn't mean that I needed to give up quality or taste. So that's when we decided, you know what, let's bulk buy our meat. Then we'll take what's left, divide it up into, at that point there were 44 weeks left in the year. We'll divide up what's left after we buy all of our bulk meat, and that is then what we will spend weekly for just some fresh produce and some fresh stuff that we need. So that is where that came about. And now we're able to have all these wonderful cuts of meat, and the meat tastes unlike anything you get at the store. It's so much better, it's so much fresher. And we have steak. We're having steak tonight, you guys. And we're gonna make a simple steak dinner because we're going to the movies today, because the girls are home. We're gonna go take a trip to the movies, something we do not do often, but we're going with Luke. His teacher's going, is kind of like his outing. But we're having steak, T-bones, to be precise. I mean, you know, it's like we're able to do that because of the way we decided to buy the meat. There's nothing wrong with just staying to $500 a month. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you want to go shop once a year and just spend $6,000 up front. There's nothing wrong if you want to go twice a year and spend $3,000 twice. There's nothing wrong if you want to go once a month and spend however you want to do it. It's still, at the end of the year, it's $6,000. It's the same budget. I don't understand why there is Some of you were okay when I was spending $500 a month, and it was like, oh, how do you do that? And then when I change it to now, we decided to buy meat up front, that now we're not on a tight budget. So that being said, I'm going to drop the tight budget thing from my titles. I'm just gonna say budget friendly meals and tell you what we're having for the day, because you guys just don't seem to think that that's right, that we're on a tight budget. Although, like I said, $1,000 a year a person, I think, is a pretty tight budget. The second thing that I have concern or questions about that I don't understand is I always get so many comments about I don't make enough food for my family. I do not understand that. I think some of you eat way more food than I could ever imagine. Most of my family wants to lose a little weight and we eat a lot. There's always food being made in my house. I cook for 4 to 6 people. Depends. The boys don't eat a lot of times what we eat, or if they do, it's very little because they're young. And I have a bunch of teenage and 20s girls. Girls do not eat the same as boys. You know, so we cook a ton. I cooked 9 burgers the other day for 6 people. I don't know many girls that eat 2 huge burgers. You know, I don't know where that comes from. Why people feel that I don't feed my family enough, but I guarantee you my family is getting fed a lot. In fact, tonight we're going to be making 6 T-bone steaks, and that is, I know somebody's gonna say, but there's 8 of you. The 2 little boys are not gonna eat a T-bone steak. So just wanted to share that. Somebody else asked if any of my kids were still vegetarian, because we went through a phase where we were trying to do the whole vegetarian thing. No, nobody here is vegetarian. Ash made it the longest for over 2 years. Kate and I did vegan for a year, and Brooke did probably about 1.5 years. But right now, no, everybody eats meat and everybody eats a lot of meat. So that's another reason we wanted to stock up on meat. All right, that being said, now I'm gonna jump into dinner. Well, actually, we're gonna go to the movies, and then when I get back, I'm gonna jump into dinner. Dinner tonight is very simple, you guys. But definitely make that delicious McDonald's Copycat. So good, so good. The farmer's cheese worked just as great as American cheese. It was really, really good. All right, I'll see you guys in just a little bit. All right, so we are back from the movies, and I'm gonna put on 6 of these huge, big as my head, T-bones, but I'm just gonna pop them in the oven. We were going to grill, but honestly it's going on 7 o'clock, so we just wanna go on and throw them in the oven and do it pretty fast. I'm just gonna put some rice on, and we're gonna have some veggie sticks and ranch. That's it. We're keeping it so simple tonight. So here's how I'm gonna make it. All right, so I'm gonna do, I don't even know that I'm gonna be able to get 6 on here. Right, and then I am just gonna top this with some seasoning salt. And then I'm gonna put this in the oven at 400. And then right before I'm done, I'm gonna top it with a little bit of butter and put it back in, put it on broil, just kind of crisp it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna top these with some butter. And then I'm gonna put these in under broil for just a little bit. All right, so here are the steaks out of the oven. They look gorgeous. I'm gonna let them rest while the rice is finishing, so they'll be super juicy when we eat them tonight. All right, so here is dinner tonight, and I will let Charles come be a taste tester. All right,
That, I kid you not, is a 6-inch steak.
They're huge. And I've already been nibbling on them, and they are so good. They've been better grilled. Steak is always better grilled, but they are so good.
Mm.
It's like melts in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's the
Not
only.
grilling was my fault because I wore myself out.
Well, we weren't at the movies.
Well, and I was tilling Ray's garden.
Yes,
So.
I will show you guys some homesteading stuff probably in tomorrow's video, because he recorded a couple things for you guys. But yes, this steak is so good. I need to call the kids down.
It's so juicy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try another.
No, one is enough. They're huge.
Well, I think they're all the same.
You can eat as many as you want. The girls will never eat a whole one. We're gonna have definitely a lot of leftover steak. It might surprise me, because we haven't had steak in forever, but I don't know. That's Fred Flintstone portions, baby.
Would not make that bet.
They do love steak. Alright, that's gonna wrap it up. We are gonna eat some dinner, and then I will get this video up for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I do promise I'm gonna try to get back to every day. I know I've dropped off a couple days here and there. We are just rebounding from all of this here. I feel like we're on the rebound. He's even going back to work tomorrow. We're going back to therapies tomorrow. So our life is getting back to normal. So hopefully the daily videos will get back to normal as well. But for right now, I've got this one up for you guys tonight. So I will try to see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye, everybody.